Hi, this is Ingress Agent 57 Cell, and in this video I'd like to teach you how to plan the links and fields for a homogeneous field. What a homogeneous field is, it's a beautifully complex and intricate set of fields where every part of your fielding area ends up with exactly the same number of layers. This is actually part 2 of a 3-part series on homogeneous fields. Part 1 tells you a bit about what they are, why they're worth doing, and where the portals might end up being when you make one. In part 3, I'm going to tell you about a particular 6-layer homogeneous fielding op we did in Perth, Western Australia, and all the different lessons we learned from that. But for now, let's see how to choose the links and fields for your homogeneous field. First of all, find an area of your city where there are a lot of portals and choose 3 of them that make a great big triangle. That's going to be the first layer of your homogeneous field. Then you'll want to choose a portal somewhere in the middle of that splits that big field into 3, sharing the portals inside more or less evenly. That would be your plan for a 2-layer field. For a 3-layer field, you find a splitter for each of those 3 smaller fields. Again, try to share the portals evenly between each of those triangles. Then, for a 4-layer field, you split each of those 9 triangles once again. And so on for as many layers as you like. In this plan, that's the best we can do because one of those triangles has got no portals inside. If I wanted more layers, I'd have to start again, I'm afraid. So that gives you your link plan, the links that you need to make for the field. The next thing you need to figure out is what order do you make those links in? Where do you send your agents to capture and link? The good news is, because this is a maximum fielding plan, you can use the method that I explained in another of my videos on general maximum fielding in Ingress. The way that method works is you imagine some wave of color sweeping across your plan. Every time that wave hits a portal, you capture it and then link back to every portal you've already captured, making bigger triangles first whenever you've got a choice, always making the biggest triangles first. And depending on the shape of your wave of color, that will give you a different linking plan, but each possible linking plan will give the same maximum fielding, the same homogeneous fielding. So here, this wave of color sweeping down from the top, and you can see every time the agents reach a portal, they capture it, and then they link back to all the portals they've already captured, making sure they make the big triangles first. Here's another example. In this one, the wave of influence is sweeping out from the middle towards the east and the west. And again, every time it reaches a portal, the agent captures that portal, links back to all the other ones, making big triangles first. Here's another example. You can see another triangular shaped wave of color sweeping out. No matter what shape wave you imagine, you'll end up with the same set of links and fields, although the actual link order could be completely different. Here's another example where the wave of color is sweeping up from the bottom of the field and, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, stop that, you guys! I'm so sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's have a look at some real examples of linking plans by real teams who made real homogeneous fields. This is the world's first ever 6-layer homogeneous field in Tokyo. You can see they made a really complicated structure in the middle and then filled in the final layers from the 3 corners of the field. Here's a second go, the second homogeneous field ever made, also in Tokyo. They started with a null field, and then they built the layers within the 3 null triangles there, finally filling in the 6 layers. This is the 3rd 6-layer homogeneous field ever made in Perth, Western Australia. We used a completely different plan here. You can see we started from one edge and built out towards the final anchor. And I want to explain this method to you in a bit more detail. If you want to make a 1-layer field, that's easy, right? You make a link, then you join a 3rd portal to each of the 2 anchors. To make a 2-layer homogeneous field, you start with a 1-layer field, then you find another portal and link that back to the 2 original anchors and then to the top of the 1-layer field. Suppose you want 3 layers. Well, you start with a 2-layer field, then build a single layer field on each of those edges of it. Then you find your top anchor portal, link to the side anchors, then the peak of the 2-layer field, and then the peaks of the 1-layer fields. And this pattern continues. If you want a 4-layer field, make a 3-layer field first. Then build 2-layer fields on the edges of it. Then 1-layer fields on the edges of the 2-layer fields. Then you move to your top anchor and you connect it to the 2 side anchors, then the top of the 3-layer field, then the tops of the 2-layer fields, then the tops of the 1-layer fields, and you've got a 4-layer field. Are you getting the idea now? If you want a 5-layer field, start with a 4-layer. Build 3-layer fields on those 2 top edges. Build 2-layer fields on the top edges of those 3-layer fields. Then build lots of little tiny 1-layer fields on the edges of those 2-layer fields. And then you move to your top portal and connect everything together to that, making the big triangles first. So the anchors first, then the peak of the 4-layer, the peaks of the 3, then the 2, then finally the peaks of those 1-layer fields. And so on for a 6-layer field. Make a 5-layer field first, 4-layer fields on the edges, 3-layer fields on the edges of those, 2-layer fields on the edges of the 3 layers, single-layer fields on the edges of the 2-layer fields. Then you hit your anchor portal, put lots and lots and lots of soft banks on it, and then link back to make your huge big field and then all of your smaller fields. Always do the big triangles first. Anyway, that's about all for me on making your link plan for a homogeneous field. Stay tuned for part 3 where I'll talk about the Perth operation we did and what we learned from that so that your homogeneous fielding op can be a great success. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching it, and remember you can look through my channel to see my other Ingress fielding videos. This is Agent 57 Cell signing out.